This is TWiT.
The first gaming console with a crank. This is,
I love this.
First of all, it's from Panic Software, who I have loved for years because they do Transmit and Coda. They're a Mac software company.
Yeah.
Not a hardware company, a Mac software company.
And then came Firewatch.
Firewatch, yeah.
What's Firewatch? They do that? Is that
Yeah.
hardware?
Yeah, they made Firewatch.
It's a game.
Yeah.
Just go home and buy. When you're done with the show.
Oh, it's a
buy
game you can
Firewatch.
play. It's a software.
So it's not like a very competitive like shooter game. It's a story-based game that
I never played it.
it's slower and it's
Meditative.
it's very meditative.
It takes place
It's
in the Wyoming wilderness.
It's worth your time.
Oh, okay. So they obviously, like Casper, they have engineering cycles to spare. So when they're not writing $50, $60 FTP software, which, by the way, Panic Transmit, it's a must-have.
Very much worth it.
It doesn't break.
It's like...
Wait, are you saying developers should make money so that they can eat and continue to provide excellent
but
software?
who would think you could, you have every computer comes with FTP built in.
And yet,
I bought it. I love all of their stuff.
But part of what's crazy about PlayDate is the idea there's the console. It's like the handheld, whatever we're calling it.
It's a Game
It's
Boy.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's
black and white screen.
$150.
It's kind of e-ink, I hear.
Yeah,
and they're going to do a flight of. It's a high resolution black and white screen. Just let that settle in for a second.
Resolution.
Where do you even find a high resolution black and white screen?
With the price, which is not cheap, by the way.
It's $150.
Okay, I guess that's kind of cheap.
I mean, you drop that at dinner how many nights a week?
Tonight.
but it comes with, they're calling it like a season or a flight of 12 games.
Yeah.
One a month for a year.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It's like one a
you get them all
week.
at once?
Yeah, they're going to release once a week. They
Once a
already
week.
paid people
Oh.
to develop these little mini games.
Some are long, some are short, some are experimental, some are traditional. And you want to write it because it's in Lua. You could
Yeah,
write one.
I thought it would be a lot of fun.
It would be fun. Now I want to write one.
One of my complaints about the video game industry, I work with Unreal, which is a giant, unwieldy engine. I really feel like with creativity, limits really help you make a better product. Like I always think about that. Have you ever seen Dr. No, the original James Bond movie?
Yeah.
That great first set in there where Dr. Strangways comes in. It's got that great light on him. That terrifying. It's just a table in the room and the light up there. That happened because they ran out of money for that set.
No.
It's the most striking shot with that. Limitations can really help creativity. So the way I feel is, I was looking on my PlayStation 4 and looking for games to buy this month. And I'm bored with everything our industry is shipping. And I just really love this idea about putting out a really small, like graphically bad handheld with that's all about the gameplay and these cute little gimmicks. I think it'll be fun.
One game a week for 12 weeks. A little LED flashes when a new game comes out. You have no idea what it's going to be.
Yep.
The Crankin's Time Travel Adventure is basically the guy that developed Katamari Damacy.
Great game.
It's like and it's just like and the list of game developers they have is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Apparently they're doing a game, too, called Untitled Goose Game. It's a lovely morning in the village, and you are a horrible goose. Oh, this is like that goat game.
That's exactly.
I like the
one
goat
by
game.
the Quap people, because the Quap people are evil.
Quap? It's a game by House House. Is that the Quap people?
I can't remember.
All right. Here it is, the Untitled Goose Game. I love the name, by the way. It's coming to the Switch and computers. So sounds like Panic did not write this, but they're publishing it.
That's what it looks like.
It's a very interesting business model. Are they Australian? I feel like they are.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't.
Playdate? Or you mean Panic?
Yeah.
They're in Portland.
Oh, close.
Yeah, I was thinking
Very
everybody
much like
I know.
Australia, but just north of us. About 11 hours. Wetter.
I could walk there
More
faster than
densely
I could fly
populated.
to
They have a
Australia.
soccer team.
They're still somewhat upside down.
Look at
So this is a bad goose. I love the graphic style. Looks a little like Tintin or something. And the music. So anyway, I do think I completely agree with you that it's nice to know that there's room for kind of quirky indie stuff, creativity.
Right.
Yeah.
And the budget to develop something like this, like there's a hard limit to how much that's going to be on something like Playdate. So
Yeah, I mean $150 you can't really You can't make much. You can't do much with that.
I do think it's worth saying, they haven't really established a dev pipeline to get on the device. They haven't really talked about the store, how that will work. There are a lot of questions left about this device. So,
Kind of like a Kickstarter.
Yeah. It's exactly
Except they didn't
like that.
ask for money yet. You
Not
can
yet.
only your email address.
Yep.
Turns out, according to Engadget, Facebook tried to buy Panic, but failed.
Wow.
This is actually in Edge magazine. So let me go to the Edge story since they came up with this. It's deep within the story apparently, but let me see. Oh wait a minute. Here's something brought to life by renowned Swedish industrial design firm Teenage Engineering. So that's who's designing the PlayDate.
That's who basically came up with the idea for the crank.
So the crank is a UI. You got the normal plus button, and then the cross keys, and then the normal A/B keys. But there's crank, and they say the crank gameplay will involve the crank.
I suspect that's going to get very gimmicky very quickly, like the 3DS 3D screen.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of people using that.
They got Amy Hennig, who did the co-creator of
It'd
the
be great for
Uncharted
driving
series.
games.
That's true.
What game? What do
Crank
you
up your car before.
what do you
No,
get? What do you use a
steer-
crank for?
As a steering wheel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just think of it as any game that you use a joystick in a circular fashion.
I think like old time movie camera guy. See how still you can keep the camera while you're cranking the film.
Well, that's what's interesting about that first game is they're using the crank to allow their character to move slower or faster than real time while all of the
okay.
obstacles are coming at the character.
Oh, so it could be like
at
a time
normal
turner.
speed.
kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
it literally is a sort of time shifting game. But I mean, it's also again, I've got 2 buttons, a thumb pad, and a crank. What can we do with this?
Right.
You know,
Right. It's exciting to start thinking about that.
So
The crank is a D-pad, but can be used as a D-pad with no up and down.
I think you're overthinking this.
I'm just trying to think of uses for it.
I hope I get one. I mean, I imagine they're going to be sold out very quickly, right? Play.date if you want to quickly get on the list. It's yellow. It fits in your pocket. It's got a beautiful black and white screen. It's not super cheap, but it's not super expensive. It includes brand new games from some amazing creators. Plus, it has a crank. It's very Swedish. I'm very curious.
Portland.
Yeah, but
Portland.
the designer's from Sweden. Didn't I just say that? I thought I just said that. Yeah. Saved that. I saved that. Okay. Fascinating. And you want to write games for this, Brianna, because
If I have time,
you'll be
I doubt
sitting in
I'll-
Congress in the
Yes.
House. I know what's going to happen.
yeah.
You're going to be sitting there. You're going to stop by the candy desk, picked
Yeah.
up some candy.
Yeah.
You're sitting there. They're waiting for a cloture vote. We're going to see you on
Yeah.
C-SPAN. Wait a minute. What is going on down there? Is Representative Wu? What is she cranking something? What is going on? The Sergeant at Arms is coming over. I don't know. You're going to have to get a permission to. I think are there limits on what you
really
can
want
do?
to know is if you get elected and you're wandering by the desks during a vote, how many people are playing games under the desk?
Oh, we want to
How
know the
desperate do you
inside.
want to
I'm
know?
going to bust every one of
We
them.
want the story. We want the
This
inside
is what I want
story.
you to think about: a speech and how many Final Fantasy references I will drop in a speech.
Oh, I would vote for you just for that.
This could be great. Like, you know that the Patton Oswalt thing where he comes
As
out and
Zelda
gives
once
this-
told me.
like the epic Star Wars Star Trek crossover that he does to filibuster
Parks
a
and
town
Rec
meeting.
thing, yeah.
I'm going to do that. It's going to be great.
That's going to be so good. I hope to
22
God.
hours, and we're up to the beginning of chapter 2.
I hope to God you get elected. I just think this is going to be very exciting.